Hi everyone, it's Glody. Nice to see you all, of course. Well, I can't see you lot, but you lot know what I mean, anyways. I'm joined by Josiah. Obviously, you guys have seen Josiah already before. He's becoming a bit of a regular. We have our good conversations on here, so I'm gonna allow him to introduce himself,
The-
and then we'll get into our conversation a little bit.
Amazing. My name is Josiah Choto. I'm an actor, singer, dancer, entrepreneur. I do a little bit of everything, to be honest with you, from owning a clothing brand to acting, as well as being a singer and a actor and a dancer. So entertainment industry, as well as the entrepreneurial side of business. And yeah, just dibble and dabble into everything, realistically.
I didn't know you own a clothing brand.
Do you not know? So, my clothing brand is called C2J, and realistically, it's called the Creative Journey. And actually, luckily for me, my phone case, we've just released some stickers. So I'll actually talk more onto the brand. So basically, what it is we're stemming off of creativity, and what I've realized, especially
It's look kind of cool. Let me see.
thank you. And then we have more stickers along the way. But as we are journeying into creativity and
There's the camera. Can zoom in. Probably can't zoom in, but you can see what I can see. This is very, very creative.
so yeah, it's a little like Keith Haring inspiration
Yeah.
with like the brand, but I'll show you more after this. But
Yeah, no.
when it comes to C2J and why I created it was basically because of the lack of creativity coming in from clothing lines.
Hmm.
And I'm actually wearing one of my hoodies right now. And
So this is an actual.
yeah, this is part merchandise. This is like exclusive for like members. And what it says on here, even though it's in all black, it says building an empire.
Wow.
And realistically, what we're talking about when it comes to like building creativity and stemming off creativity is creatives don't really have like a platform where they can talk against or like talk with with one another
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
it comes to their craft or the creative field.
Mm-hmm.
So what I've realized is from the connections that I have and the people that I know, the amount of customers that have come in, we can actually give them the knowledge for that creative industry or their respective path.
Yeah.
So you can be a artist like a painter, and I have a connection with someone who is a painter, a professional painter,
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll be in contact with you, teaching you or like telling you what to do to progress your craft, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. So it just started off from there, and starting off as a word-to-word kind of business back in 2019 to now actually going global
Yeah.
with people like in Germany and Spain and this and that. It actually shows where creativity comes from, and even how much
Just started from the small and it's kind of just gone.
it's just gone.
I'm gonna make sure that we even put. Have you lot got like a website?
Yes, yeah.
I'm gonna make sure that there's gonna be the website. So if you want to see
Yeah.
all of Josiah's, what's the name of the brand?
C to J.
C2J.
Mm.
C2J.
C to J, yeah.
C2J.
C2 and then J, yeah.
C2 and then C2J. So you guys will be able to get an exclusive hoodie from the man himself.
Legit.
But without further ado, a bit of a random one. Where have you been? What's the favorite? What's the best place you've been to? So what's the best place you've ever traveled to?
Best place I've ever traveled to. Now, there are a lot of different places that I've been through, thanks to my career and what I do. But one place where I can actually say, yeah, this place is it, is Monte Carlo.
Really?
Yes, it's surprising.
How old was you when you went to Monte Carlo?
That was back in 2016, so I was about 8, 9 years old.
Wow.
So just from that first experience in being in Monte Carlo, just kind of riveted to where I am now, where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's just because of the people that I've met and the environment that I was in.
Yeah.
And coming from a place like London, especially in North London, you don't really see like sunny places like that. You don't really be in environments where
It's the exposure, I guess, that comes with
exactly.
being an actor. It's interesting though because I think the most interesting place I've ever been to has been Berlin.
Wow.
And it's the most interesting place because it's probably like one of the only it's like one of the only places I've ever like traveled to, innit?
Isn't it?
And stuff like that. I think one thing that was quite interesting about Berlin was just how clean
Clean it is.
it was. It's like because you're in and around London and stuff like that, it's like there's a lot of what's the word or what's the best way to put it? Is that you can compare standards
Yeah.
very easily.
Yeah.
people are a lot more intentional about like picking up like litter on the to just put it in the bin and stuff. Like they really care about their country. Not to say that Brits don't care about their country, stuff like that.
It's
Maybe
not a shout to Britain, by the way. Maybe I'll try to slander Britain's name.
maybe there's a million and one things going on in their minds, so it's like they don't have time to pick up litter and stuff like that. But
Yeah. But no, Berlin is quite a shout, especially just like the environment in Germany, because last time I went was back in 2021.
yeah,
And even just being there, it's just like it has an urban feel to it.
yeah,
Like, no matter who the person is, they have a sense of community. And I feel like when people say, "Oh, I want to go to Britain," and to feel the vibe of Britain and whatnot, it's the same feeling I get when I go to Germany.
Yeah.
It's like there's a community there. There's like a sense of urban. There's an urban structure there. No matter
Yeah.
how old you are, how young you are, or no matter what you do, everyone's kind of supportive, which I love so much about the country. So yeah, it's really beautiful place.
yeah. I think if there's even one more point on that, I think one thing that was really nice about Berlin
Mm.
was the doner kebab.
Oh my god.
They had like these little cafes, and it's like you can sit in a cafe and you'll get like a drink coming to you and everything.
Ain't no.
And I was just like, yeah, like, do you know what I mean? It was,
Like, thinking about it, I remember
you can't compare the kebab in the UK to the kebab
you can.
in Berlin.
It's
And like it's actually unmatched from
It's
the bread to the doner meat to
oh my.
the way they serve you like in the little cafes. Like it's yeah, man.
It's beautiful. If you want a proper kebab, go to Germany.
Yeah, we're not
We're not advertising Germany.
we're not advertising. but
Advertising Germany. But if you want the
It's
best
a suggestion.
it's a suggestion.
Yeah.
Remember, this is a suggestion. It's not because I'm being biased or anything. It's a suggestion.
Yeah.
If you guys want to have the best kebabs, me and Glody recommend Germany. That's what I'm saying. Go to
Berlin.
Germany. Berlin. Berlin especially. Not Hanover, even though Hanover is like up there.
It's all right. Yeah.
Berlin. I'm gonna leave that there.
Okay, cool. I saw a video earlier on actually. It's about this guy, yeah, who basically snuck into Drake's party and he showed Drake a painting. Yeah. And basically because Drake posted his like Drake basically like co-signed his work in it. He posted him on his social media, and the prices of the guy's painting went from about $200 to like 20,000. Like yeah,
From 200 to 20,000.
to 20,000. Yes.
Insane.
And for me, yeah, I just wanted to kind of know, not even know, but it's kind of like I find it interesting how somebody's influence can grow to that level where it's like, you know, you've impacted how price of somebody's work. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then I think the next question for me is, okay, cool. Is that because of the fact that that person has good quality painting, or like good, I don't know how you would judge the quality of someone's painting is. Like, I'm not an expert in that.
Yeah.
Specifically, yeah. Would you say that that person, the price of that person's painting going from $200 to 20,000 is on the basis of Drake's cosign, somebody who's of value, let's say, or would you say that that's more or less on the quality of the painting?
I feel like it falls in between, because you can be one of the best painters of this generation and totally become unrecognized. And when someone actually recognizes your talent, as you said, he snuck in. He snuck into the party.
Yeah.
So the fact that he even snuck in, he took that chance. And the fact that he even took that chance and Drake actually saw the painting and actually co-signed it, it must show one of two things. Either that person actually now has that recognition, he now has that foundation that he can stand on and say, my value has been recognized. Or it could be because Drake co-signed it, my vision has been recognized. But even then, it shows you how powerful influence is.
I think it says a lot about the individual, you know. As much as Drake has managed to, you know, co-sign it, and because, you know, Drake is a very what's the word? He'd be seen as certified and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it shows the drive of the individual. And of course, because of his passion towards his painting and wanting to get out here, it's driven him to sneak into Drake's party. I'm even just wondering,
How did he get the security on top of that?
do you get what I'm saying? But for me, once again, it says a lot about the individual. And even if I'm to revert that back to actors, yeah, there's a lot of actors that I speak to, for instance, who have stopped acting, or not even just acting, in like the creative space, for example, who after a while, yeah, they've just kind of given up. And it's just like, I wasn't getting the right jobs, or I wasn't getting all the the jobs that I wanted. I wasn't progressing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, if you have a vision for yourself, yeah, that's been set, and you know exactly where you're heading to, yeah, there won't actually be anything to like stop you unless it's yourself.
Yeah.
So for example, it's like, and I think I said this last week, yeah, I was kind of alluding to this like last week, yeah. If I have a vision, for example, yeah, of seeing myself being an actor in Hollywood, which I know I will be, do you know what I'm saying? That's not even an issue, yeah. I use today to work towards that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it's like I'm living in that reality now. So it's like it will be even more difficult for me to give up, because it's becoming more real to me.
Exactly.
I don't feel like people develop a relationship with the vision they have, or there isn't any vision at all. So because of that, they're not able to like push on. So in regards to this person, this painter who snuck into Drake's party, for me, it shows how much he believes in his work.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you get what I'm saying? It shows how much he believes in his work. And because the next question that I was going to actually ask you, I've got it written down here, yeah, what defines quality of work? But I feel like it's subjective. You know, even like when you hear sayings like, oh, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, for example, I feel like when we speak about the quality of someone's work, you determine the quality of course, and this might be controversial though, Yvonne. I think though, yeah, you determine the quality of your work, number one, by the amount of work you put into it.
Of course, yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying? And also understanding that everybody we see now that is at a high level, yeah, they weren't at a high level first.
Yeah.
They were doing a lot of things in which they weren't seen. Do you get what I'm saying? So they were putting in all the necessary work, what's the word I'm trying to look for? Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
If you're an actor, it's the training that you're doing, it's the people that you're meeting, the people that you're speaking to. And over time, people then start to see the value of that work. It's like a Kanye West. I don't know if you watched the documentary.
The Kanye West Genius?
Genius.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that one was cute. I loved it.
Do you get what I'm saying? So for ages, he was, he believed that he was this sick artist. He put so much work into, pushing his work, meeting all the necessary people, getting into all the necessary parties, putting in all the necessary hours, into his vision that he had, to push, what he wanted to do and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And eventually, the world came to believe in his work,
and
in his art. And obviously now, I won't get into it, I mean, I don't have an opinion on it, whether he's gone mad or not and stuff like that, but for me, that's why it's hard for me to, it's like you have to you put in as much work on the basis of how much you believe in what you're doing. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know, or I believe that I'm a good actor. Do you get what I'm saying? But it's like, because I believe that I actually have something that I'm called to do in that world, I'll put in the necessary hours
to get to that.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And because of the vision that I have, or because of, through mentorship, or through being a part of like the Nation family and stuff like that, and just understanding the importance of my influence in that space, it's like it will drive me to put even more work.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I hear it.
Into building, because of course, everybody that's in Hollywood, or everybody that's at the top of acting or the top of the entertainment industry, they can't see what I see it.
Exactly.
So everything that I'm doing now, I don't expect them to believe it at the moment. Do you get what I'm saying? But what I'm doing is, the more and more I'm growing in belief of what I'm doing, the more and more I'm growing in belief of the vision per se, the more and more it's like I'm putting in more into it. I'm putting in the hours into it. I'm investing time. I'm investing finances and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Till it gets to a point, yeah, where it's like people won't be able to deny what you believe in because you've put in so much into
Well,
your belief system. I feel like belief system is an extremely important thing. And the reason why I was kind of not getting onto, but kind of speaking on creatives that tend to give up a lot is because I don't feel like they have vision or they don't have an end goal or why as to why they're doing what they're doing. But you can,
Yeah, no, definitely. And I feel like that point is very, very important because if you're creative and you really want to get somewhere with your craft or your goal, you have to put what is required and more
yeah,
to actually get to where you're going. Because if you actually just do what is required, I feel I think I read something the other day that says if you just do the bare minimum to get somewhere, you're not doing what is required for the end goal,
yeah,
for your end
yeah,
like achievement or your end product.
yeah,
And I feel like it's very important to when the moment you realize or you've achieved a certain milestone, it's now just progressing onto that milestone and building on top of that because there's someone out there, not saying that you're in competition with anyone, but there's someone out there who's doing 10 times more than you.
But that's on the basis that they believe.
That's their belief system as well. So, of course, obviously different to different people. It's different for different peoples in different scenarios and what they're trying to achieve. But if you want to get to where you want to get to, and you see that clear vision or that clear path, you have to put the amount of work, the right amount of work in, and to have a certain level of belief. Like you said, when it comes to Kanye and believing he was like a good producer to then believing he was a good artist because he was actually
It became real. But you know what I find hard there because I don't know if you can convince. So you see, like how we're speaking, yeah, we're in our fields, yeah, and we're in our industries, and we're pushing each day because we believe in our why. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
We believe in our why. We believe in the vision attached to what we're doing.
Yes.
And because of that, we can spend each day, we can use each day correctly. Do you get what I'm saying? We know how to number our days.
Yes.
Because there's a vision that's been set. There's something that we're working towards. There's something that our mind is constantly on. But then it's like somebody needs to find, or they need to find something that makes them continue going on. They need to find something that they believe in.
Because you can have that burnout.
Exactly. I can have that burnout. Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's like, even when you do feel tired, or even when you do feel like you're not being heard, because your vision is so clear and each day is being spent, every single time you're putting in more hours, every single time you're putting in more finances, that vision is starting to become more and more clearer.
Exactly.
And more believable, meaning that you can go even more deeper into it.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's almost like I can't burn out because I can see what I'm doing. And every single day in which I'm investing time into my craft, I'm investing time into the vision, so and so, or quote unquote, yeah, it's like it's almost impossible for me. I can't see outside of it because all my mind is fixated on.
Yeah.
So I keep going until the vision then carries me.
Exactly that. And I feel like it's very important to have a good sense of or foundation of a good support system as well in place as well. Even if it's just for yourself or the people who've inspired you to do more or push you to do more, it's very important to hold that message tight to you because you'll recognize it when you're at the level of success that you want to be. And you're like, wow, that person believed in me. This person believed in me. And you won't forget them because the amount of vision and the amount of inspiration that they've given you, they've put that fire in you. You've given them inspiration to do more. And just by that, even if it's like, because for me, my parents influenced me to do more because they're in different fields, totally different fields. And just from their inspiration and their support, put me into the position where I am today to actually believe in myself because there was a journey that I had to take individually because they realized that they haven't touched this sector of entertainment before. They haven't dealt with someone who's in entertainment or trying to succeed or trying to have that breakout or break out of their certain norm
Mhm.
per se. So it's the fact that you need to have a good support system to actually go somewhere,
Yeah.
to actually believe in yourself, and to not have or achieve burnout.
I think before even going on to the next point, I think something that I'll add here. I feel like um I'm trying to think of the best word to use to kind of describe my my thoughts or my idea like around that, because I definitely agree. I think it helps when there are people that are okay. Let me give this as an example. Yeah,
Mm.
me going into acting. Yeah, because I stopped, and I've said this many times. Yeah, I stopped acting at 18, and then I got back into it at 22 because my mentor, um, he advised me that, hey, look, I think this is something that you should revisit.
Mm.
Do you know what I'm saying? Of course, at this point, I've had a completely new, different perspective. My why was different.
Mm.
So, what happened when I was 18? Remember, I started acting at 15, stopped at 18.
Mm.
I realized I didn't have a why as to why I was acting.
Mm.
And just making it into Hollywood, yeah, it just wasn't enough.
Mm.
Do you get what I'm saying? It wasn't enough of a why for me to keep on going, if that makes sense. Like, why am I going through all of this stress of going to auditions, getting rejected and all of that sort of stuff? But it's like once a massive vision was made clearer to me, that through me growing as an actor or being in a place of influence, I can actually direct people to developing themselves. I can actually help that because I've seen it happen to me.
To you, yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? I'm an example of what's the word? I'm an example of someone who's kind of come from nothing,
Yeah.
almost. Do you get what I'm saying? Who is now growing and understanding that I'm not just an actor, but in my position or in my role as an actor, I can actually lead a nation. Do you get what I'm saying? World leadership, understanding that I can actually use my place of influence to actually do more than just indulge in the lifestyle that we see every and I'm not knocking them either.
Yeah.
At all. I'm not at all. But we see everything that it has to offer. And I'm just saying that no, as an actor, yeah, I can actually use my platform to actually do more good. Like,
yeah.
with the influence that I can have over many people through being in Hollywood, through being a great actor and stuff like that, yeah, I can actually help people, number one, in getting better at knowing themselves.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? I can help people know how to understand how to use finances, for example, or the importance or the need for finances. I can direct people to this vision that has enlightened me. Do you know what I'm saying? That's made me the way I am. If I keep on going, is because I understand, yeah, that I'm actually meant to be a role model to a generation.
That's what.
And I know this sounds like very deep and stuff like that, yeah, but I realized vision is something that's meant to be bigger than you.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the biggest difference between someone who's an influencer and a true leader.
Yeah.
Because true leaders actually have a sole purpose and a passion in you becoming who you are. Do you know when I hear people just say, oh, that's a powerful leader, what has he done to inspire you, to make you do better? That's why when you have a true leader or someone who's leading you in a direction where you are going the path where you want to go, you have to be like, that person empowered me to do something. And I feel like, especially now in this generation and where we are today, it's really important to have a voice. Because I've realized so many people are being condemned.
Yeah.
And there's so many times that try to happen, plenty of times where people try to silence people's voices or even my voice per se, and you have to rise up to that. Because as a leader, as someone who wants to empower and say, I want to inspire so-and-so, I want to make sure the younger generation has a voice, you need to be in the place of a leader, because saying that you're a leader and doing something opposite, it shows you're selling a concept. You're not really achieving the end goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why it's really important to stay consistent. And I feel like consistency is key. And we lost kind of that consistency, that rough edge. We've been lost in the source. For so many actors and so many people in the entertainment industry, they have what I call a lost soul, a lost voice, because they've forgotten their purpose.
Yeah.
They've forgotten what they have, work so hard to achieve just for that to just go away. So that's why it's important for you and for me and those people out there to kind of take that leadership role and lead,
Take responsibility.
take responsibility.
Yeah. What would you say has helped you? How long have you been acting now, or how long have you been in the entertainment industry?
It's been since I was 8, so 8 years now.
8 years.
8 years.
What would you say has helped you remain consistent over 8 years?
I think it's just by finding my purpose.
Mm.
Because when I actually started, I think I told the story when I was in Africa, 2 years old, and started dancing to Michael Jackson. What I realized is when I started doing that, I set myself a purpose, saying I want to be able to change the world. I want to be able to put my family and put my name, my surname, my first name onto the limelight. I want to make sure that we are known for doing this and for doing that. And just from that, it's kind of grown into something powerful. The purpose, my purpose has now just grown into something that keeps on making me up every day and realizing I have this to do at the end of my mind. And throughout my whole experiences when it comes to being in musical theatre and just doing all this entrepreneurship and everything, I've realized that there's an end goal to this. This is not temporary. This is all for the long term. And one thing that actually made me realize I'm doing this for my purpose is for my family. Because I've realized for my family, we have a strong name. Choto basically means fire. So when we go out and say, my name is Josiah Choto, it says, I am fire, basically. You're saying who you are and what you represent. So coming from history-wise, a very strong family, it's important for me to kind of rise up to the family name and for my cousins to rise up to the family name because we have a purpose. We were born with a purpose. We were born with a passion. We were born with a vision. And to kind of let that down says a lot because I have something to stand on. I have something to work towards.
What sort of well, I got this question that I want to ask you, and it's kind of like a flip, What's in the times, that you've kind of like, have there been moments, in your 8 years where you've kind of wanted to like give up?
Of course. There many times, because especially because I started the entrepreneurial route when I was 13. And that was purely based on my parents saying, well, it's time for you to go lead. It's time for you to do what you have to do. I remember the day of my birthday, they said, now's the time for you not to play. And they said, from now on, when it comes to funds and this and that, you're on your own road. It's time for you to learn independence now because you won't learn it when you're 20 or you're 30. So that's why when it comes to being a leader, that's why I go back to it. It has to start from somewhere. It has to start from young. And even then, when I started at 13, there were times when I wanted to give up. Many times because, again, I'm not asking for money. The chores that I do, I used to get money off of that, and so on and so forth. So the fact that I didn't have any influx of money coming in, it was like, oh goodness gracious me, what have I got myself into? So it puts you in a scenario where you're in the deep end, and you have to find a way to stay afloat. And even then, I wanted to give up, but I couldn't because I had no other option but to survive.
Very interesting. I want to ask you a little bit about. I know you've just finished doing a project with Vodafone. Are we allowed to speak about that?
Yeah.
On camera? Yeah. Tell us a little bit about, your experience there and just, how the whole thing's been for you. And stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, being in Vodafone, just even in that environment, was kind of like meeting up with old friends per se. And I've realized that especially going into adverts and doing this and that, you realize how much productivity goes into a 3 minute trailer.
Mm.
And even in that 3 minute trailer, you've realized how many memories you've created with these members and cast members and so on and so forth. So to actually get the opportunity to be on set with great actors as well as great producers and great directors, it says a lot. It's all a blessing.
Mm.
And just to be in the presence of people who are starting out their career and even just family members who are acting
Mm.
as brother and sister, even though they are brother and sister, it says a lot. Because during my time in the TV and entertainment field, even though it was very short and not really a long resume, this kind of project made me feel like this is the next step for me.
Mm.
It made me realize, okay, even though I had my fun with musical theatre and even I had my fun with radio, it's now time to move into another direction. Not saying I'm neglecting that field. It actually shows me what I want to do.
Mm.
And the fact that after so long, after about 4 years now, because the last thing I did was Adidas at 2020, in 2020.
Yeah.
And even then I had to wait for like 4 years or so to kind of get this opportunity again. And even through this opportunity, it opened many doors for me. And the things lined up is quite amazing. But even then, it shows me that with the passion that I have as an actor as well, because there are different hats that you have, especially being an entrepreneur, being an actor, singer, and dancer. There are many hats that you need to have.
Mm-hmm.
But to have this hat and say, okay, it's time for me to go on this journey and go about it, because the formula has already been built a long time ago, about when I was 13, the formula's been built and the blueprint is already being used. It's so easy for me to go back to it and look at where I need to go. So with this is a new journey. So I now need to create a new blueprint. I need to now find a new kind of inspiration, which I really love about it as well.
Yeah.
Because being an actor, I think you've experienced it when you learn a new role or just go into a new field, you have to learn a certain ability. And even then, it's just like, especially with the experience that you have, like, how did you venture onto a different acting abilities or different forms? Because there's a certain method that you have to use. Like I say, a method for the madness, like Kanye West, for example. So how did you kind of like venture into a new role or new possibility to lead and this and that? Because it's very, very empowering.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because I feel like, because I do love acting, and I think that the only way you grow as an actor is the more and more you take on different roles, and you can kind of learn to kind of like understand or to keep creating different stories. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's one thing that that keeps me more, because I think to even take on more roles, you gotta keep on being you gotta be motivated, innit?
So yeah.
You know, you've got to be driven to want to do more at the end of the day. I think it's because I like finding truth in what I'm doing, so I always need to find something that I'm connecting with. And it's like, once you've done a role, it's like that high that you felt, is like you need to
keep on building
keep on building on that high, in it. And it's like, I think I've already told you before, I was doing Malcolm, and I was playing Malcolm, and it's like the moment I found something that I connected to with Malcolm, and that was his passion and my passion, which I think are very much alike. It's like, yeah, like it's like you're just lost in that. And then when that's all done and dusted, you need to go and find the next thing to go and be high on. If that makes sense, innit? I don't know the best way to like say it and stuff like that. But I guess, yeah, it's that constant, finding and looking for, or seeking and then finding. Do you get what I'm saying? Because that's a whole process in itself, innit? But it's fun. It's fun doing that. And I guess what adds to it as well is because of the fact that I have my why. Do you get what I'm saying? I understand that I need to be in a place of influence. I understand that I am a representative of a vision. Do you get what I'm saying? To a whole different world, a creative world, an entertainment world and stuff. And it's like our vision needs to be visible there as well. And I want to push it out there. Um, I have a quote here actually. That I want to get your kind of take on and stuff like
Definitely,
that.
definitely.
Do let me know if you want me to repeat it.
Oh, yeah, this one.
Yeah. So, what is offered for free is dangerous. It usually involves either a trick or a hidden obligation. What has worth is worth paying for. By paying your way, you stay clear of gratitude, guilt, and deceit. It is also often wise to pay the full price. There is no cutting corners with excellence. Be lavish with your money and keep it circulating, for generosity is a sign and a magnet for power. What do you think about the quote? Or if there's like one or two bits that kind of stuck out to you? Why?
That's that right there. Is it says a lot.
Hmm.
Wow. The things that are free per se
Yeah.
have a certain agenda to it.
Hmm.
Or like they have a certain kind of shadow or lurkiness about it.
Hmm.
That's really powerful.
Yeah.
And even then, when he talked about be lavish with your money, know what you're doing with your money as well. That's important as well, because sometimes we lose track of what our end goal is,
Hmm.
and we start kind of spending not recklessly, but you kind of start spending in a way where you're not really focused or you're not really achieving the end goal. So that quote in itself says a whole lot
Yeah.
when it comes to like the things that I've done to lead up to where I am today.
Yeah.
And even then, just try to stay consistent with that, because I've realized that along the way you'll want to find a shortcut. Of course, everybody, a human being wants to find a shortcut and everything,
Yeah.
but it's all about making sure that you stay true to your word, because the profits at the end of the day are major,
Yeah.
and God's gonna bless you for that for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think it's interesting. I think we'll kind of start to like round up. We've had
yeah,
I think we've had a very productive conversation.
mm,
I think it's important for us to keep doing these things.
mm,
Because I feel like, especially for creatives, there's a point that I made earlier on about, creatives and consistency and starting something and then stopping something.
mm,
I think it's so important to find your why,
yeah,
to find a reason as to why you're doing something. And that's why we have creative control, really.
yeah,
It's a family of creatives. I don't think there's a family for creatives that are out there.
mm,
It's a family for creatives to stay in check, to stay motivated,
yeah,
to stay passionate
mm,
as well. Do you get what I'm saying? And we all have a vision of helping people, number one, become the best version of the best version of themselves. We
yeah,
always run with the mantra of us establishing and building something that allows creatives to constantly be creative without limit.
mm.
And on that basis, I think we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.